Welcome to the weekly AMA. I'm QX, and somebody else got roped into this today. What's your name, sir?
Hey guys, I'm MGpai, a community developer in Ergo.
Awesome. How'd you get roped into this? Were you threatened with your life, or did somebody have a hold of your seed phrase, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I know I got threatened with shit coins, more comment being sent to me. So I was like, no, I don't want that. So I had to join.
More BBC coin airdrop to you, right?
I don't know.
I guess that's not the kind of thing you want your mom to have in her wallet, eh? All right, so what's new this week? What's new on, why don't we talk about your front? Let's talk about the community developer side. You start. What's new on your side? What are you working on? What are you doing in Ergo? What's exciting you outside of Ergo? Anything like that. Let's hear it. Putting you on the
Yeah.
spot, MG.
So this week we have something big going on, Ergo Hack, where a lot of the developers are participating. And Ergo Hack, is something that happens every few months or so, every 6 months. Where everyone, gets together, teams up and works on some cool projects, in an attempt for some, rewards. I think this time we have like 18,000 USD worth in rewards, something in that
Not
number.
just that, but we got a community donation too of another like 7,800
Oh my
ergs.
God. Yeah, that's
Yes.
crazy. Oh,
So we're up to like
yeah.
2,500 erg plus whatever Rosen reward is on there too. I think we'll probably be up to near, it's got to be somewhere near 30K US dollars about for this
Wow.
reward.
So huge, huge incentive to do this Ergo hack, and Ergo hack's wonderful because that's how a lot of ideas are born, For example, we had I think the Ergo raffle, born through an Ergo hack. And we got maybe the duck pools maybe or some like primitive version in Ergo hack. And we also got one of my projects, Lilium, that was born through the Ergo hack, plenty of projects. So, it's a huge event for the community because this is how ideas are born and perpetuated. So, QX, are you participating in the Ergo hack at all?
I am, I participated in Ergo Hack 5, maybe. What was your first one?
Oh, yeah, my first one, I think it was in 2020, October 2021. So,
Oh,
a
wow.
while back. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, so 5 was the first one. I was the only one I've been in so far, and that was I was making a payment system for people to pay their devs, because I noticed when I came into the
Oh, yes.
ecosystem, if you're waiting, if there's somebody that's a project leader and they're paying their devs, that was never usually on time, or people are waiting for waiting for their payments. So I was like, what if we could automate this and put this up there? And the project leader put ergs into a contract, well, not a contract, a wallet at that point, because I didn't know anything. And then it would just upload a CSV of what the payments were, and it would automate and send a TX every month, kind of thing. So that's still out there somewhere, some script on some one of my servers. It worked okay. But yeah, so that's the first one that I was in. This one I'm actually in 2 projects, but let's not talk about me first. Let's talk about you first. What what are you doing for this Ergo hack?
Yeah. So for this Ergo hack, I found a really good use case. So we have Minotaur wallet, which a lot of people use for multi-sig purposes. However, I find it to be a bit of a bottleneck for multi-sigs because, you got to download the wallet, secure your seed phrase, and then do the multi-sig. So, and when you do the multi-sig, multi-sig is basically when a bunch of addresses at once hold custody of assets, right? So, you have to import a bunch of different addresses each time you want to create a multi-sig. And this can always be a hassle, and it slows down communication because, people are lazy or people, and generally the problem is not more so than being lazy. The multi-sig has to be in a secure location, right? You can't just have it open on your desktop or your mobile device. It has to be on a good, like, secure device that's air gapped or at least like somewhat isolated that you don't use every day, right? So, to get to this, it's always a hassle. And multi-sig takes time, and even more time if there's like groups of 10 people. So, my solution is the solution for this is to make a multi-sig website. So, there's a common product on Ethereum called the Genesis Safe, or like it's rebranded to safe.global. And it's just a complete multi-sig site where when you make a wallet and you just like paste the addresses of the people you want. And then if those other people just like, access the site with their addresses connected via like MetaMask, it'll automatically group them into a multi-sig wallet. So, this is exactly what we want to replicate on Ergo, because it's pretty straightforward to do. And this will be a huge use case, and hopefully more people will be, like open to using multi-sigs, right? And
So kind of like Roundtable on Cardano.
yes, yeah. So I'm not familiar with Roundtable, but Genesis Safe on Ethereum, which I know for sure. That's what we're going for.
So
And yeah,
you're
go ahead.
allowing people to use essentially the multi-sig is not in their self-custodial wallet. They're just holding the
Right.
signing permissions with their own key with some of their smart
Yeah,
contract, I assume.
so they basically get to use the multisig through Nautilus or their Ergo mobile wallet rather than being restricted to a Minotaur, which you got to download.
Very interesting. That should speed things up a little bit, I'd hope.
I know. Yeah.
When you're trying to sign a multi-sig transaction, the usual first thing is, "Oh, I'm not home for another 8 hours," or that kind of thing, because
Exactly.
it's
You
at
can
home in a
use
secure
your
place.
you use your mobile wallet and bam, it's done. You don't have to wait for anyone, or anything. So yeah, it
Really
should
cool.
make everything faster. Yeah.
So how much of the code do you have done in the back end?
So a lot of the backend is nearly complete, database backend. It's pretty simple because we don't really need transaction construction in the backend. Because everything happens in the front end. So now we're starting work with the front end, which would be a little bit harder. But luckily, some code for like Genesis Safe is like open source, like the website. So we might like fork that and modify that for Ergo. Yeah, so hopefully we should be able to finish in the next 3 days, which is the deadline.
Oh, when's the deadline? Saturday?
Sunday,
Sunday?
I believe. I think the third.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, that sounds awesome.
So you sound a bit rushed, QX. So how is your project coming along then?
So I've been out of town. I'm in 2 projects on Ergo Hack. So
Yeah.
I was out of town until yesterday afternoon. So I tried to get a little bit of coding done at nighttime, but the first project that I'm in is the Ergo mining pool, or Sigmanauts mining pool project. So what we're trying to do is we see, like, if you go to mining pool stats, you see at the top of the page, the DX pool is a #1 pool, and immediately next to it is an advertisement that says "Mine Erg, get Bitcoin."
Oh
So
no.
I know, right? So our thought is, okay, so we have a group of people that want Bitcoin. All right. So what if we do our best to still try to keep them on chain somehow? And that way is obviously through Rosen Bridge. So the thought is, okay, if we can set up some way to have people mine to our pool and then receive Rosen Bitcoin, it's the same concept as holding Bitcoin, right? But you're still in the Ergo chain, and hopefully maybe bleeds a little less than just swapping straight ergs for Bitcoin over there. So that's the intent. Yesterday on the plane at 35,000 feet, I wrote some backend scripts. That the base part of this is getting our mining core database to mirror to a secondary database so that we can kind of morph and change and put layers on top of it. My main idea, and mainly limited to my programming lack of ability, is that I don't want to touch mining core server. Okay, so that means if mining core server ever has an upgrade, or when Cheese comes along and gives us his code for storage rent, I don't want to have to change anything that I've done. So I'm trying to build a simple layer on top of mining core. And that means that we have a mirrored database, essentially, of all the stuff. And the way that a miner can set preferences, we don't want to do it by tracking your IP address. So I've developed a method that you can mine to a Rosen Bitcoin wallet, a Rosen ADA wallet, a Rosen Ethereum wallet, or whatever Rosen token you want to mine to. And those are preset wallets made by the SIGs mining group. And then you name your rig. We have an option in naming your rig for a lot of custom text. So we're essentially going to parse that text out of the rig name. So in the rig name, you're going to put your actual wallet that you want your Rosen tokens delivered to after the swap. You're going to put the threshold. So if you want 0.5 Bitcoin or 0.5 Rosen ADA, as a threshold to have it deliver. And then after that, you can name it your rig name. So I've done some testing on that. I've got the databases mirrored. My rig's been mining to that. Now the next step in the back end is to make the payout scripts. So Mark the Shark is also with me in Canon, and Mark's developed, figured out the math for PPLNS, which is a method of payouts, because we have to. The way the mining core works is essentially it pays out automatically through that system. And again, I don't want to touch that. So if let's say 20 of us are mining to the Rosen Bitcoin wallet, mining core sees that as one user, so it'll dump all those users into the Rosen Bitcoin wallet in the Ergo payout. And then our scripts will look at that payout, see how much it was. It'll then go into the back end and determine everybody in that Rosen wallet and parse out their actual real payment addresses, then take their worker names and figure out their share efforts, and then do that calculation based on how much has got deposited in the Rosen wallet, and then it'll pay out people according to their threshold. So to the user, it should be fairly transparent. In the back end, it's a little bit complex, but it should work. So once those payment scripts are written, Mark's going to start integrating some more info into the front end, and we should be good to go. So that's fun. And the next project that I'm working on is kind of like a starter light version of MGpai tokens messaging. So if anybody saw my proposal EIP maybe a couple months ago, there was an idea that we can entice, provide income for miners by creating a messaging system that they will be rewarded for burning. So the final version of the product would be a smart contract that you mint a token with a message in it. It could be encrypted or not. And there will be a certain amount of ergs that are required to be attached in that box or inside that box while it's inserted into the mining contract. And there's also rules on the in that say, we can set block height as well. So let's say that you want the message to last 14 minutes. So you'd set a block height 7 blocks, further along the line than that. And then the miners would then be able to burn that token and collect the box reward to do that to vanish the token. Yeah. So that's the final version. That's what I'd like it to be. But again, my lack of programming has forced me to try another method. And this first method that we're going to put out just to test it is kind of a self-custodial method, so that it gives you the right and the ability to burn your own tokens. So MGpai, if I was going to send you a message, the little app that you're sending the messages on would mint a token in your own wallet, and it would be named a certain thing. So we can scan the blockchain for that token, and your client would then be scanning the blockchain for tokens named like that, plus having your address in the description and the message. Yes. So the token that I'm sending you with my message never goes to you, never is in your custody. It's only in my custody. So then I can burn it at will and erase those messages at will, kind of thing. So that's a first light iteration that I'm working on there. But it looks like it's going to be all-nighter, probably Saturday night MGpai.
Right. No, QX, these are wonderful ideas. I think the mining pool one, has a potential to do a lot of impact. I've been seeing your pool has been doing awesome, right? How much hash rate does it have?
I think we have, it goes between 85 and 100 about for the last.
That's amazing. So how much? What place are you in, or overall in all of the pools?
I think we're in 8th place. Let me see. Okay. Mining pool stats. We just slipped in 9th. So there's a couple pools like that'll just get like 30, 40 gigahash and slip above us or below us. But we've been in 8th for a while, and then we just slipped to 9th with 88.29 gigahash. But I mean, that's impressive.
What do we need to be in top 5?
We need quite a bit. We need to be 350 or 360 gigahash. In 4th place is almost a terahash. So It'd be a pretty big jump. It'd take a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah, I mean,
it'd take a lot of your money, MGpai, to rent some rigs.
no, I think this is wonderful. At least like we're getting some blocks like somewhat decent, some decent amount, right? If we bought, if in before I used to mine to this pool a while back, when before I had to turn my rigs off, um, and we would get a block like once a month or something.
When we first started, yeah, testing, we had like
Right.
one gigahash barely kind of
I
thing.
know. So,
And we
right.
got,
So,
I think we got 10 blocks the other day once. That's a record now.
oh wow. I know.
Not
So
too
like
shabby.
this is really good because once a month blocks that those are not good to get people like interested in the pool. So now at least we get like what a few blocks a day, right?
Yeah, on average, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks a day can be. Yep.
That's
Yep.
wonderful. Yeah. So
Yep.
we're definitely going to attract more people, and I think it's a wonderful idea that you pay people in like native tokens if they want. So you keep them in the ecosystem and you don't impact the erg's price. Because if anything you have Sig USD, right? If you want something stable, and
Yeah,
which
we
is
could pay
awesome.
in SIG USD. That's an I didn't think of that. We could just
Yeah,
spin
yeah.
up another pool. And that's the advantage of the system too, is that if people request another payout, it's not very hard to just duplicate the scripts and change the token ID to the token that they want to be paid out in. It's actually
Right.
probably a 5-minute process to add a token
Exactly.
to
Right.
this
Anything
kind of
they
thing.
want. So, and also there's like a really cool project made in the ecosystem, which was also part of a previous Ergo hack, I believe. It's called
Is this
Guap Swap.
yeah.
And yeah, and what this allows you to do is it allows people to mine whatever token they want, and it to be automatically handled by like smart contracts. So essentially you mine erg, right? And what GuapSwap does is before you even get that erg to your wallet, GuapSwap takes it, swaps it with Spectrum Dex, and gets you the token that you want immediately, and it completely trustless, right? So it's all done through smart contracts. So if something doesn't work out, you can always get that normal erg you want back. You don't have to like be like, hey, QX, it didn't happen. It's just done in a contract, so you have complete
Yeah.
control.
That is a
So
really, really good option for people who want that kind of self-custody and that kind of control.
exactly, I'm wondering, along down the line, if you can just use GuapSwap or something in your pool code and make it
Yeah.
like an easy integration. That'll be
Well,
fun.
one of the advantages of us doing it is that we can monitor the price of the swap tokens and take advantage of arbitrage opportunities ahead of time. So if we know that we're going to be expecting, let's say we know we're going to be expecting 100 ergs worth of Rosen token in the Rosen pool that people want to mine, and we see Rosen dip, that week. We can then preload the Rosen tokens with a swap at a cheaper price for that, and potentially
Okay.
reward people with more once we get that figured out. So we can kind of game that and watch that, potentially giving more value to the miners as opposed to doing a straight swap at the time of execution
Right,
of
right,
swap
right.
swap. So
No,
there's
that's
that.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that possibility that opens up there. Of course, it could go the other way as well, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that'll be interesting to gamify and figure out as well once we do that. But yeah, you're right. It could be any token. You could mine erg and get Gort for goodness sake.
Yeah. You wouldn't comment if you're crazy. So yeah, these are great ideas which at the end of the day help the ecosystem prosper. And also your other idea, what's the name again?
Which one? The second one?
Yeah.
Mferal
Yes,
tokens. Mferal
referral
tokens.
tokens. Yes,
Or
yes. I think
mferal messaging, yeah.
that'll be like a fun game, in the beginning, just like test it out, see how it works. And you said what miners would get rewarded, right? If they burn.
In the end, yeah, the final the version 2 essentially, the non-light
Right. So
version. Yeah.
so I believe it's the user themselves who made the message needs to burn their own message, right? And the process of burning will reward the miners. Right.
No. Right now, the light version, the user will just burn their own token and be done with it. Yep. I'm
Right.
just testing out the relay, testing out the friend, and that kind of thing. In the future version, we're going to set block height on these tokens, on these boxes. So creation height, and we'll see set expirational creation height so that miners can then burn them right out of the smart contract.
Oh, okay. So this is so are you leveraging storage rent, or are you manually putting a specific condition in the smart contract?
I don't know. We haven't gotten that far yet. So the initial thought was just leveraging what's it called? Leveraging the smart contract so that user could burn it and then force a payment to the miners, right? From there, doing that. But the next idea would be to force. Well, can you help me out here? Can you force miners to burn a token? Right?
Well, you can't. No, you can't force them, but you can always like allow the option. Right. I mean, in Ergo script, and nothing is forced, right? You always need to go out of your way to process something. So this is the same concept applies here. So all you would need to do is, I mean, I would probably recommend this because all you need to do is just allow the when you created the creation height, you just set it to whenever you want it like taken by. So if it's like a 1 million the creation height, you can set it to like 1.1 million. So after 1.1 million creation height, it's fair game, right? It can go any second. It can go like a year from now, whenever like a miner who detects it, they're like, oh, okay, I see this box. And now since it's past this creation height, I have the ability to burn this box and claim all the erg within it, right? I mean, if that incentive's there, they'll do it.
But the issue there, though, is that they could maybe not burn the token. They could collect the token, and then your message wouldn't be deleted.
Yes. So
perhaps what's it called? Perhaps it might be better to somehow allow maybe write a off-chain bot that processes this somehow, or else integrate it into the Sigmanauts mining pool and allow other mining pools to integrate it in as well. That forces that somehow, allows you to spend it out of the mining contract. Perhaps.
Yes, that's correct. I believe all the tokens, it could be collected. It's like anything can happen, right? When you have storage and they have control. So yes, correct. Yeah, if you want more control.
Yeah, the idea is we need to burn the token. Yeah, so we'd have to do a contract. Correct. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, interesting. So lots of things to think about there on the non-light version once that happens. What's happened in the ecosystem other than Ergo hack?
Yeah, so
are you excited about the stable coin from PayPal going to Solana?
Oh no, yeah. I saw that on Twitter, I think. That's it's very sad, but it is what it is. Hopefully, they start on like one ecosystem and move on to others. My hope is that Rosenbridge should, fill in these gaps. We should have Rosenbridge on EVM soon enough, and eventually we might even have it on Solana. And we can always get these coins, right? We'll get USDC, that's the Rosen wrapped, USDT. We can even get PayPal stablecoin. And all that, that's the power of Rosen. Bitcoin launch is going to come real soon, and I'm really excited. Especially the idea of getting ordinals, so like runes. I think we're starting out with runes, and runes are more or less like the version of shit coins, but on Bitcoin. And people, but the problem is on Bitcoin, it's not well done. Like, it's very hacky how they do this.
Right, yeah.
So you really can't do anything but like barely trade it. Like you trade these shit coins in the form of like how you would trade NFTs, like you list it. There's no like DEX on Bitcoin because it's not possible. So hopefully, with the Rosenbridge, they'll people will be allowed to do DeFi on these runes or ordinals or anything. We move them on Ergo. Maybe you can swap them on Spectrum, or and you can swap them on Spectrum, or even on Splash on Cardano. That's the idea of Rosenbridge. It allows for a lot of power. And then when we get on EVM, I mean, this is what I'm thinking. Right, most people will probably want to go from Bitcoin to EVM because they're the most well known. I think that's mostly the target. And then what the plan is, once they get in the bridge, they'll be curious. They're like, oh, there's Cardano here. Let me just go here for fun. There's Ergo here. I wonder what Ergo is. Oh, they have low transaction fees and they already have a DEX. So why would I pay $200 to swap on Ethereum and I can go to Ergo, then come back on whatever chain I want? And, this will help Ergo because, we'll get fees. And what do fees do? The miners get the fees. And if there's more fees, we get more miners that come to our chain to mine. We'll get higher hash rate, more attention on Ergo. Before you know it, it will be a top 10.
Yeah, yeah. I hope one of the things I hope is that you know, people holding Bitcoin, they've been holding Bitcoin, right? So my hope is that they see this and they come over and they see something like let's see this right now before I speak. They see that there's a 20% APY right now on the SIG USD pool, which is one of the lower
Wow.
lower versions. Sometimes it goes up to 100% depending on what the pool utilization is. So my hope is that they come over and they see this and they're like, oh, we're gonna, let's spin up a RSBTC pool on Duck Pools, and
Right. Exactly.
start using those financial tools that we have, as well as Sigmafy and those tools. So yeah, the hope is that initially people come over and see that and like, oh, I'm going to be first there. There's obviously a need. Let's give funds to these lenders. There's nothing
Right.
like well, let's see. Uh, um, Let me look up this thing. Yeah, there's nothing like a sub 120 price of Ergo to make people want to leverage against it or leverage with it
Right.
in hopes that it's going to go up. That's for sure. So there's plenty of that kind of thing going around. But yeah, looking forward to that. And right, the Rosen team is kind of moving on, getting closer to that goal. If I am reading the chats correctly, you're spinning up your own Bitcoin node to help with that.
Yes. I love running my own infrastructure, to support decentralization. So, if anything, people should definitely support Bitcoin, and that's the reason why we're all here. So, I like to run my own Bitcoin node. I use something called Umbrel, and it's very straightforward. It's just an OS you can download, like to the USB flash drive. You just put it on there, and you install it on your computer, just like you would do to Windows or Ubuntu. Super simple. You do that, and you install, and you just hit two buttons, and you're done. And you get a web console. You just go to your IP address and everything's done through your own website. You don't have to even worry about knowing any technical server knowledge.
So
Ideas.
you run a headless essentially.
Yes. You run a headless server, and then you control everything through your web console. It's super straightforward.
And how long did it take you to sync a Bitcoin node on
Yeah, I mean, so I have like a little powerful server because I want to use my node actually. So it took me probably 20 hours to sync about 700 gigabytes of Bitcoin
Oh wow,
Bitcoin data. Yeah.
All right, so you suggest at least a terabyte to be good for a
Oh
year or so?
yeah. I have a nice 2 terabyte drive on my SSD. It's really fast. You need a fast SSD mostly, or else it'll take forever. And especially if you want to use it, right? Because I actually want to use the node like with all the API endpoints and all. So if you want to actually use a node, you need something a bit more powerful, or else all the requests each time you use your node will be like super slow. So you
So
got to keep that in mind.
are you going to open up your access to watchers that are going to be needing a BTC node to point to?
I'm not sure yet, honestly, because it's on my private network. It's on my home network. So it's probably going to be for personal use. But I'll see. The problem is I can't separate my network into virtual networks because my router doesn't support that. So I don't know if I can find a good way. I know there's ways to through Cloudflare, but I need to research how secure that is because I'm not trying to leak my IP or anything, open a vulnerability. So
Mhm.
if that can be patched, I would love to open mine up to everyone else. But maybe I'll probably allow the guards to access my endpoints.
Maybe you can
If
make a
anything.
video on setting that up, and we can throw that up for the
Yeah.
watchers.
For
That'd be
sure.
great.
Yeah.
So if I'm
You
so
know,
sorry, go for it.
yeah. So I mean, thing is, right? For I don't expect everyone to run this because it's like a terabyte of data, which isn't really you can't really expect that from any like non-tech people or anyone not
Hmm.
too invested in this who just like want to run the watcher and be done with their day, right? As passive income, and you can't really expect them. But if you have a bit of curiosity, please, you should try and do it.
That is awesome. What was I going to say? So if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, there's going to be no pathway back to Bitcoin. There's not going to be a transfer of NFTs burnt into ordinals or runes essentially over in Bitcoin if we want to go that way with something.
Yes, yes. You can only get runes back on Ergo, and those runes you already got back on Bitcoin, right? Though that's completely fine, but you can't, for now at least, you can't make an NFT on Ergo and make it into like a rune or ordinal on Bitcoin.
So watchers on Ergo will not see necessarily a benefit of the Bitcoin chain being added because nobody's going from Ergo to Bitcoin.
I mean, no, no, no. They definitely will because you can. I mean, they always benefit. I mean, they mostly benefit from fees, right? I mean, this will always create more fees to be used.
No, but
It's the
yeah, 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 of course. But I'm thinking like if let's say somebody has 30, 40 permits, all right? And they're like, okay,
yeah.
can't wait for Bitcoin. And then they're on the air, they're only doing Ergo. And they're like, okay, great. When Bitcoin comes, that's going to increase my transaction watching and that kind of thing. But it might be better at that point to split up your permits and spin up a Bitcoin watcher so that you can get those fees coming from Bitcoin to Ergo because you won't see the Bitcoin fees going from Ergo because they're not going to Bitcoin for the
Right, yeah,
watcher.
right, yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes. That makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I guess like the revenue would be a bit less, but I'm sure some people will want to bridge from Ergo to Bitcoin, right? If they ever want to hold Bitcoin itself, I'm sure that market itself will be there, but it's just the NFTs itself. So NFTs on Ergo or NFTs on any chain to Bitcoin, ordinals or runes.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, so they'd have to buy Rose and Bitcoin on our side on Ergo and then push it over to
Yes,
Bitcoin
yes, yes.
for that to
They
happen.
use their
You
decks.
got it.
And I'm sure you can do that same on Cardano, right? On the Cardano decks, you'll have Rose and Bitcoin and you buy
Yeah,
that
yeah,
swap.
but on the other chains you can start off with ADA and end up with you can start off with Erg and end up with Rose and Erg on their chain. You can't do that with a Bitcoin though. There's not going to be Rose and Erg on Bitcoin.
Right, right. Exactly. Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
do that. Maybe in
So
the
it's a
future,
little
but
bit
yeah,
different. It's a
yeah.
little bit different
Right, right.
than the other bridges or than Ethereum and Cardano. So that's
Correct,
very
correct.
interesting.
It could be
Um,
possible in the future because they also have like coin representation, but like I said, it's really not well done, right? It's very hard to manage,
yeah, yeah.
and the problem is it's all incredibly centralized too. Like you need specialized indexers to also like keep track of this, like all central, because the node doesn't, right? The node doesn't even know about this.
On
So
Bitcoin?
yeah, 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 because it's not supported by the node.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
not an actual asset, right? It's literally like some tiny data value you put inside of a UTXO. That's all.
And then you have to have a
So
centralized entity to keep
yes,
track of
you
that.
have an indexer, and
Yeah.
these damn problem is like it's all like really, really centralized. So it's not even open source. So like you got to trust. Like I mean, I know that it's like it could be a bit better now, but in the beginning it was all centralized, and you have to like trust these people, like some of these services that it's indexing it properly and not lying to you,
Oh,
right?
wow.
So it's like it's not the biggest fan, but you know what? People like whatever they like.
That's true. It does seem like, yeah. Yeah, what do you do? I mean, we've had that discussion a lot. How do you explain to somebody that's essentially a maximalist on
I
Bitcoin
mean,
that they
the
should be coming over and, don't try to shoehorn, things like runes into Bitcoin when you have to
right.
create centralized services to track it and keep track of it, when you can come over to another chain that fully is able to do all that kind of stuff.
The original idea I actually like behind ordinals it's really nothing but keeping a bit of like tracking UTXOs. So for example, if you have like Satoshi Nakamoto, he mined like the first some n number of blocks, right? And those n number of blocks, they have rewards associated with it, right? So you get like Bitcoin each time you mine blocks. So these Bitcoin, they're represented in nothing but UTXOs, unspent transaction outputs, or boxes as we like to call them on Ergo. So these boxes are valuable because they belong to Satoshi, and he probably spent a few of these boxes that he mined. Then those people probably spent those boxes and so on. So if you track it very carefully, you can actually get that exact UTXO in your hands, the very first UTXO that Satoshi interacted with. And that has like it's like fun. It's like treasure hunting, right? So you find something, and it's like a treasure to you, right? I mean, to me, it would be. I own a few of these rare ones. I own like a UTXO from block 78 or something. The first one that was
Wow.
mined by someone who's not Satoshi. It's like Hal Finney. It's fun. It's like cool because you get to be part of something, like you get to be part of the history, and you also have these boxes which you get, which were one of the first pizza. In the pizza
Yeah,
Bitcoin
yeah,
transaction is 10,000 Bitcoin. So there's Bitcoin from that you can collect, and so on. I think that's like a somewhat cool idea. But then other people in the community explored it more and figured out that they can make NFTs, pure NFTs in it, and then they can make tokens, token representation on it, and that's how we got to where we are today.
very cool. Well, speaking about that, can you we got a question for you. Let me
Yeah.
see, where is this? Here we go. Let me see if I brought that up. Perfect. It's from Wombo22. He wants you to talk about what actually running a node does. Why run a node apart from supporting decentralization?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you, yeah, besides decentralization, besides the obvious, running the node allows you to get access to a bunch of endpoints, like API endpoints. So that means you get to like see the state of the blockchain itself on your own, trustlessly. So you don't have to like rely on my node or QX's node, right? Because we could be bad actors where we hack,
Probably are. We probably are.
we we give you fake data. We say that you have more Bitcoin than you actually have, just to like mess with you. We could do that, for example, or we could maybe log your IP address each time you make a request, or your wallet. It's not you, it's your wallet that uses our node because you're likely a non-developer. So in your mobile wallet, it has our node IP address or someone else's node's IP address, and then we can run like a service on top of the node, which allows us to see who's calling this, right? It's like a proxy. It's like a middleman. We put a middleman that sees who does the request. Then it allows the request to go through and come back, but we see everything, right? And we can track where you live, where you're from, how frequently you're doing this, what your balance is. And you might not want this. You might want complete privacy. I mean, sure, you can put on a VPN, but most people, they won't think about it. So it's best to run your own node, right? And you put your own node URL in your wallet, and then it's yourself. You have complete trust, and you have the complete security of the blockchain itself. So yeah, you should do it for safety and security, and it could be also more efficient, right? If you have it in your own, if you live in maybe Antarctica where no one lives, and you have your own node, then the request will be a lot faster because you don't have to send it to QX's node, all the way in eastern US, right? Which is a
Wow,
lot
why don't you
further
why
from
don't you just
Antarctica.
dox me, MGpai? Yeah, the cool thing that I like about running your own node is that it boils down to and goes back to Ergo as an unstoppable form of an unstoppable financial system. So exactly, let's say you're in a restricted country, and you don't want to be broadcasting to a node outside of the country, or there's issues with that. You can spin up your own node and submit your own transactions to the network right out of your own back door, kind of thing. And there's probably somewhere in even a restricted company that's broadcasting out from there to the rest of the world, even if there's some restrictions somewhere. So you're after talking to that node and propagating the mempool across the nodes, and it's going to get out, eventually, kind of thing. So that's kind of the unstoppable power of that peer-to-peer network that running a node does for you. Yeah, it gives you the, yeah, it's all. I think once people who was it? I think Alien in chat, in Sig's mining chat.
Yeah.
Yes, yesterday was running a node on his either Raspberry Pi and his cell phone, I think, maybe both. And he just had a eureka moment, was like, holy shit, this is what it is. This is what it means to be my own bank, I think was his
Right.
quote. Here I am, I want to pay for something. I have the ability to broadcast my transaction to the entire blockchain and take care of them there without relying on MGPi's node or QX's
Exactly.
node or that kind of thing. So that's really what it's all about. All right, so here's a fun question for you, MGPi. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Did you delete it? Um, I think you deleted it. So I'm going to ask it anyway. Unless I can find it here. I can't remember who it was from. It might have been Wombo again, might have been Doom Troll. Any special secrets about anything you're doing with mining that you might be working on at some point?
I mean, it's yeah, sure. So, I mean, it's not really official, but I'm like, I'm also working on my own. I'm trying to get my own mining pool running with someone else. Um, so that would be
Are you
cool.
trying to compete with the Sigmanauts, MGPi?
I mean, yeah, probably, eventually down the line once I get running. But if I mean, yeah, it's like more or less like a bit public. So if people don't know, I'm working with Joe, Armenio, as part of what is it, Team Lithos Miner, and we have a FPGA bitstream. So FPGAs can mine Bitcoin, or sorry, mine Ergo, and
You
join
forgot
in
which
on the
AMA
fun.
you're in, MGPi.
Yeah. So FPGAs can mine Ergo, and this is not going to give them a good advantage. The FPGAs really don't have much of an advantage over GPUs for Ergo, so you don't have to worry about them taking over. There's like hundreds of thousands or millions of GPUs compared to like a handful of FPGAs. So it's barely anything, and the only power FPGAs have over GPUs is efficiency. That's about it. It's still a similar hash rate. So the idea is that FPGA actually, mining opportunities are very dry right now. It's not many right now. So Ergo would be a perfect candidate, especially if there's more price movement. So we'll get a lot of FPGAs on Ergo, and the idea is I would try to force them on my pool that I make, until we get that Team Lithos decentralized pool, right? Which is the end goal for everyone, right? Even Sigmanauts, I
Yep.
assume
Yep.
they mine to that decentralized pool. So ideas in the meantime, they could mine to my pool, where I earn some fees for putting in all the work, and also supporting decentralization, right? Because you don't want all pool to have hash power. And I also want to further incentivize people by adding storage rent to my pool. Once I figure that out, I mean, I already know how storage rent works, but making a pool is a bit harder because I'm trying to make it in like a fast language, like a really efficient pool, so it scales well.
Will
And
you
I'm trying
take
to,
will you just take Jesus code and work with that once it's
no,
out?
no, no. It's a completely built ground up. It's in a language called Golang.
Oh
So
wow.
this is like comparable to like C++, Rust. Golang is like really fast. Also, it's good for concurrency, so you can run like a lot of parallel processes, I guess,
So
at
you're
once.
essentially building your own mining core server.
Yes, 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 from
I
scratch. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay. Wow.
Uh,
Wow. Amazing.
So it's not really. I mean, I'm not working on it like constantly. It's very slow because I don't have much time to put on it. I don't have much incentive right now. But eventually maybe I'll have more progress at the end of the summer, and we'll see. But that's like a fun little side project.
Have you spun up the two or three FG? What do you have? You have a couple FPGAs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I'm still a work in progress. I have like a lot of other things to prioritize. Doing a lot of other fun things right now, other than mining. So I'm focusing on that. But in a bit, I have the bitstream ready. I just got to like work with. It's really raw right now. It's not like completely done. It's not like a complete mining software. So there's still a lot of work to be done. But I'm still haven't got it running on my FPGAs. I have a few. And once I get it running, I'll probably make a tweet or two, and yeah.
Very cool. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to Lithos, that's for sure. That'd be nice
Oh yeah,
to
yeah.
go that route. We have a question from Odi Boha. You can answer this because I'm not sure what he's talking about. Says, hi, everybody. Can you explain the Bitcoin relay Kushti's working on? How will it work? What will be possible on Ergo once this feature is completed? Is Kushti working on a Bitcoin relay?
No, I don't.
Is he
I
thinking about,
don't
is he
think so.
discussing Rosen Bridge, perhaps? Is that what he means?
I don't know what do we know what Kushti's doing for Ergo hack? I haven't.
Oh, that's a good point. I've been
Yeah,
head down a little bit this last week.
yeah. I can check it. It was probably in yesterday's developer update, if anything.
Oh, perhaps, yeah. All right, let's see. I'll look for another question while you look that up. Um,
Yes, yes. So
it's
yeah, so it appears to be for Ergo hack doing trustless Bitcoin relay. Oh, okay. I kind of remember this. Yeah, okay. So for Ergo hack or some contract thing, I think Kushti figured out a way to. Oh yes, yes, I remember. So yeah, so Kushti figured out a way to verify proof of work on Bitcoin on Ergo. So you would pass in some data on from Bitcoin blockchain, right? Anything, any recent block, you put it in the context variables inside of a contract, and then the contract can verify whatever the mined hash or something along those lines. It can verify data from Bitcoin and verify that it's like legitimate, something along those lines. I haven't read into it too much, but basically it allows us to, I don't know, I think it allows us to make a new layer on top, or at
right.
least,
And not
yeah,
just
so,
for
something
Bitcoin
along
too.
those lines. Yeah.
So Ergo could do that for something like Caspa or other company or other
Maybe that would
places
be huge. Yeah.
other people that lose their chain data essentially. So
Right.
essentially you're giving proof and another yeah. I gotcha. Very cool. Very
Right.
cool.
So yeah, it seems to be interesting. I don't think it's a bit complex. I guess it's part of the side chain idea. He's working with looks like Ross, so Soyser on this. Um, so yeah, and it looks interesting. Hopefully they find success in this. But yeah,
Very cool.
I think Kushti will make a video on this, explaining it like really in detail. So keep your eyes
This is
open
his Ergo
on this.
hack.
Yes, yes, yes. It
All right,
was in
perfect.
the
Yeah.
developer update. Yeah.
Perfect, great. We got another one from Doom Troll asking if there's been any talk with the
Ooh.
guards to change the cost of permits. There hasn't been. I think the guards are still in the infancy stage of recognizing they have the power to bring this forward and discuss this kind of things. So yeah, it just takes one of us, I guess, to push those kind of conversations forward. But no, there hasn't been Doom Troll. I mean, I guess with price increases, it could get a little out of hand, right? What's 30,000? Let's see. It's 30,000 plus 3,000, right? So 33,000 is the initial one permit kind of thing.
So what is that, like 3 grand in Rosen?
I'm looking right now. It is 33,000. Yeah, I mean that's a bit out of reach for a lot of people right now.
How
That's
much is it?
2,400 ergs. That's almost
Yeah,
3 grand. You're
3 grand,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you're right, Doom Troll. That's quite up there. Yeah, it's probably a discussion that needs to be had. So Doom Troll, you guys can help out with those kind of discussions by talking about them in main chat, and then that'll motivate the guards to have a discussion. Plus 800, yeah, thank you, just a little better. 33,000 Rosen plus 800 erg, right? So you're looking at over 30,000. Yeah, that's a lot. So you guys can help facilitate those discussions, get them in chat. You know who the guards are. They're on the public website. Engage the guards and say, guards, this is too much money. You guys should do something about it or whatnot. Yeah, those are always good community conversations to have. I'm glad you guys brought it up here, but also bring it up in chats and yeah, target the guards, talk to them, see what's up. Yeah, I wonder. So right now, if people don't know, the guards are on a loan-based system, essentially. In the future, guards will have to put up funds to be slashed if they're a bad actor. So there's a risk there and some incentive to, kind of control the network and run it. But yes, we are both guards to control. I know. um, So right now the guards were not gifted the guardship. They were gifted essentially a draw, what they call in the sales world. So as the fees are built up, the guards currently do not get fees. We do not get paid. It goes into your slash fund. So once that amount is reached, then the guards will start getting paid. So essentially you've been loaned the guard token until you run up enough time to build up what your slash would be. So with that, kind of not having to put up your own front at first, I think the guards are a little soft, myself included, with what their responsibility is there. So yeah, I think it would take the community as well, like Doom Troll mentioning it now, and other people to target the guards and say, hey, let's have a discussion about this and why we think it should change as a community. So yeah, those are good discussions. Thank you, Doom Troll, for bringing it up. Yeah. But that is, what was it? I guess when it started, right, Rosen was a couple cents. So it was only maybe like 1,500 ergs total to become a watcher. Now it's like 3,500. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I'm sure some threshold needs to be met, right, in terms of value to avoid some like bad actors or some, DOSing, DDoS of a bridge. So, I'm sure like there's not like to make money or whatever. Right? It's just like it's not like we get the money. It's like held. It's just locked. You have the money. You can withdraw it any time and stop being a guard. So
yeah, it's to provide an incentive for you to be a good actor, essentially. But
I mean, that's the best part, right? It's not like a Ponzi or anything where you're just paying other people and we pay out, distribute. No, it's all held by you just for security reasons, right? So, take comfort in that at least, right? It's not going anywhere.
MGpai says decentralize the SIGs. I agree. I think we should decentralize the SIGs. We're on Padilla. I don't know if he's half joking or not. But SIGs are on Padilla, of course. Oh, speaking of that, two things about the SIGs. One is Cannon wanted to let everybody know that he's sending out a survey, chance to win 25 Ergo. It's part of his Ergo hack project. It's about wallet experience. Please, if you can, fill that out. Second thing is we have a vote up to help fund the Sky Harbor auction. Raffle. Right now it's for 7,000 ergs and there's only 964, I think, that the community's donated to it. And I think it's only like 19 people have donated to it. So the idea is that SIGs will help fund that with about 10% of the treasury, which is like 3,800, almost 4,000 ergs. So that would leave about 2,400 ergs left for the community to handle. Now, I think I talked about this a little bit before, but the things that we're figuring out the pain points of Ergo for first touch people. And one of them is, in fact, NFT space. And Sky Harbor is definitely part of that. So you got to think, if you're bringing your buddies over from Ethereum or Cardano, even Bitcoin runes coming over, there's got to be a good experience for them to be able to work with this kind of stuff. And Sky Harbor is, that besides Auction House, Sky Harbor is that experience. So it's really important for the community to come together and fund that. So if you guys can put towards that auction, we still have a couple days, I think, left on the auction and on the Padilla vote to help fund it. But SIGs will do our part, but the community hopefully will finish up and do their part as well to get the contracts updated and have them open source the front end so that then more people can make cool things and make their own version of Sky Harbor, essentially using the contracts. So yeah.
Yeah, guys, great incentive. Let's support the NFT ecosystem for sure. I mean, we'll need it with runes coming. So, yeah.
Yep. Oh, we've got a question for you from a guy. Do you know a guy named Luca?
Of course.
He's asking when Ergo names and when Sigma lock token lock. Yeah, what happened to Ergo names, MGpai?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're trying to get it out, in the summer, by the summer ends. You know, right.
Is a code on a floppy disk sitting on top of your FPGAs?
I mean, right now, prioritizing the Ergo hack currently, but after that, I'm going to be back on Ergo names, and also we're working on a fun project for the Sigmanauts, which is going pretty well. We have the smart contract design already, and then it's just off-chain implementation. So we have cool things pumping out slowly and steadily, and right now both LGG Luca and I work on this together. He's like my Ergo partner. So right now we also work together with Zenge too, which is our job, our full-time job. So we're also pumping real like exciting stuff with that, pushing real world asset or tokenization on Ergo, and we're really like enjoying that work too. So there's a lot of fun things going on, in the Ergo ecosystem.
So Dan lets you work on other projects. He allows that. He didn't write it into his contract that you only work on his stuff.
Oh no, thank God. Or I wouldn't be there. I'd be like, no, Dan, I got to work on these cool side projects too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Sigma but you guys just gave us a big flow chart that we have to look at. I was going to do that after Ergo Hack, so I could put some good time into it. Yeah, so that's fun. And I'm hoping that once people see, once the SIGs see like this simple version of Amphero messaging, that they can help fund the real version, the bigger version coming up. Or maybe, doubt that'll win, but funds from that could go to developing the full version kind of thing with smart contracts. Yeah, super cool. All right, what time is it? We're 1 minute over, MGpai. I don't think we have any questions. Is it too late to enter Ergo Hack? Odie says, no, it's not too late.
Never too late.
Yeah, you could enter the night before if you wanted to and code something real quick. Odie, Boha, you should enter if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, 3 days left. Please, enter, explore the ecosystem at the, at least, play with Python, JavaScript, anything you want.
What's it called? There's a cool service. I don't know if he's public about who's doing it, but you see somebody's developing a Let's service or a Let's protocol for Ergo.
Oh, really?
Did you see that?
No.
Super cool. Yep. So Let's stands for a local exchange trading system, kind of thing. So it's super cool. I think that kind of stuff really speaks to what Ergo is and how it's going to be functional in the future with a peer-to-peer network that it is. So super excited about seeing that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
nice, great. So we have this week, tomorrow, I record the dev update I apologize for not doing one last week. It was a busy week. I was out of town for a week. But this week we'll make up for it. We'll read last week's and this week's. And it's going to be with Bullish Dumpling, if you guys are familiar with Bullish Dumpling on Twitter.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I think we'll get some really good insights from her, as well as ping her with some questions to see how she functions in the space itself, and go from there. So looking forward to that tomorrow.
Exciting.
Great. Are you going to be coding all weekend, MGpai?
Oh, yes, of course. You got to get this multisig out.
I got a question for you. All right.
Yeah.
With your level of coding ability, how much do you still use ChatGPT to write quick stuff for you?
Oh, yeah, I know. I definitely use it a lot. It's so good. Makes it so much faster, all the like repetitive stuff. You don't need to rewrite or anything. You can always. I also don't use ChatGPT. I use something called Claude, which is it's the best way. It's the best right now.
Can Claude write smart contracts as well?
I don't use AI for smart contracts. You can't. I do not. I highly recommend you don't do that because you can't trust it.
For simple
no. I guess no. But you will be like, oh, it's working, and you won't see a vulnerability. So smart contracts, I would be incredibly careful. Actually, real quick, there's a quick story behind this. On Ethereum, someone developed like a new NFT standard using AI, ChatGPT, telling it to write something. Someone did this. And then there was well, my this is like this thing. These things piss me off. So they made a smart contract, then it like got like millions of dollars or something for some random ass person who made this contract who didn't know any developer experience. They made it, they deployed it, and everyone liked the idea. So they made like I think $1 million, couple million. They made a lot of money. It's some good amount of money, and it got exploited in like a week or something.
Oh my
All like
God.
drained, exploited from someone who made something so quick, and then all because they made it using AI, and then later on, actual developers took over and rewrote it and all, and now I think it's dead. But
Well, it's
yeah,
in honesty, MGPI, it's nice to know that Chat GPT suffers from the same thing that normal Ethereum devs suffer from, and that's the ability to get smart contracts drained. So,
right.
I mean,
So yeah. So I mean, this was more so a code flaw than Ethereum flaw. So I wouldn't, yell at Ethereum for that. But still, I would just be careful what exactly you use AI for. But if you know what you're doing, it's a really good tool, and it's a good tool for like real basic stuff that you already know. You just tell it how to do. Like for example, get input from this website, from my website code.
oh yeah,
And
parsing
yeah, like
JSONs
really
is
simple things.
amazing in that. You're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you don't want to
Right.
rewrite that every single time. You just
Right.
throw a
Yeah.
little bit of the JSON. You say, hey, in this language, please parse this out. Give me this data from it
Right.
every single time.
Exactly.
Boom, it spits out the code. That stuff makes it so fast. Absolutely amazing. So it's nice actually because I can spend more time thinking in my head of how the framework of the application is going to go in the
Right.
process of it. And then when I finally have it in my head, I just bang out a quick script and either
Right.
have ChatGPT tidy it up or give me a base right there. So it definitely helps a lot on that kind of thing.
Right.
Oh, we
I
got one
mean,
more question. Wombo's
yeah.
throwing us. Wombo is he's kicking the hornet's nest here on purpose. He wants to know MG Pie's opinion on the Ergo transaction speed.
Oh. Yeah. 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 Sure. I mean, it's a really big issue. Um, I would say I think Ergo really needs to improve the speed, or at least get like a layer two solution going, or something along those lines. To make the speeds faster, because it's the issue for a lot of people, because we're like a DeFi chain, right? We're not like a Bitcoin, which just transactions, or whatever ordinal bullshit. I don't count that, but it's just transactions. Like
I
it's
hope
not a
I
big.
hope nobody from BTC is watching this right now. But go on.
It's it's only like when you do a normal transactions, like that's okay. 10 minutes is fine. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just transactions. But for doing DeFi stuff, like come on, you can't be waiting for a long time. Because on Ergo, it's not 2 minutes. It can be 5 minutes. It can be 30 seconds. It can be 10 minutes. So there's high variance, and we really need to improve upon that. And all these new mining chains or proof of work chains are like sub 30 seconds or sub 15-second block times, and we really should try to aim to be competitive with that, because a lot of the public also sees that as a really important metric to see how viable a chain is. So, my suggestion is either get the layer one, faster, like sub 30 seconds, or work on just leave layer one as it is, and work on a layer two, a reliable layer two that's a lot faster, and where it's scalable and people can just do transactions on it.
So you
Recently, yeah. So recently, I onboarded like a few people from my college, on Ergo in the space, because they're like really heavy into AI. So like I was just explaining, blockchain is also pretty cool. So I showed them Rosenbridge, Cardano, and showed them Ergo, and they're like, "Why is my transaction is not confirming? It's been more than 2 minutes." And I had to explain how it's 2 minutes on average. So if you look at the last 10 blocks, it'll be 2 minutes, not like the last like one or two blocks. So, it's not a pain just for people already in it. It also will be hurting the new customer base, or, coming onto Ergo.
Yeah, but you think that's at the risk of propagation of transactions and confirmations across the network? I mean,
I
we
mean,
see this. You see this issue, right? When's the last time Ergo had a what's it called? What do they call them? Orphan forks or whatever that's called that you experience in other chains? A big one, like a big one. We're talking like two or
right,
three
right, right.
blocks.
Yeah, I don't even know if we really have that, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, my hope would be that in Ergo, at least finality, once people recognize what Ergo is, you may see on like central exchanges them thinking, oh, finality on an Ergo is 2 blocks, 4 minutes, that kind of thing. That'd be
That's
nice
true.
to see. I honestly think they don't look at Ergo enough, and they just put a blanket and maybe see what somebody else is doing and say, okay, 10 blocks kind of thing for depositing funds into there. So So yeah, so that would be my hope there. But I would be worried about, I'd be worried about. I've heard Kushti speak quite a bit about why 2 minutes and why he chose that, or why the team chose that in the early beginnings, and it made sense at the time. But then my question again too is that, do we, we pick on Ethereum bros a lot for saying that, oh, layer 2 will solve this issue with Ethereum. Layer 2, oh, that'll be layer 2, oh, that'll be layer 2. Yeah, we're kind of doing the same thing here, So it's an interesting duality there, that, do we fix it, I guess, or if people think it's broken, with the base level protocol that's secure, and soon we'll be dealing with a ton of locked volume with Rosen Bridge across many chains, so security's key there. Or do we tweak that a little bit, or do we rely on some other solution? Go ahead.
I mean, honestly, I completely agree with the idea of layer 2. It's a good idea. You leave what you want on layer 1, you let that be the base layer. Then you have layer 2s that that are meant for other things, right? Because like some could be for high frequency trading. Like you can't have one size fits all, right? I mean, that's really the idea behind layer 2. So I really support that idea. It's just like a lot of developer work. It's not an easy task, but I think layer 1 could be like a good layer for like fully decentralized, highly decentralized, super slow but super secure. But then layer 2 can be for like everyday things, where you want to buy a cup of coffee, you get finality in like 1 second, like speed of credit cards, right? We don't need to be faster than credit cards. And then you can have another layer 2, which are like 100 millisecond finality, which is good for like high frequency trading, for example. And so I think there's use cases like that. But I think the problem with Ethereum is that it stretches it to a complete new level, where you have like layer 3s now, right, on top of layers 2, which is probably unnecessary. I don't think there's really a legitimate reason to go beyond layer 2s. And now you got also like layer 2s as a service, right? You have like something called an optimistic layer 2, which is like architecture of doing layer 2s. And now they allow you to make your own layer 2 on top, or like a layer 3 on top. So like I think Base Chain, which is Coinbase's Ethereum clone, is like part of this layer 2 or layer 3. I think that's a bit unneeded. But there's always people want what they want, right? So we're also working on this, right? So to make Ergo similar to this, like all this layer 2, I think Armenio is working on this, getting funding and planning it out, still in the early stages. But the idea would be to allow old Bitcoin ASICs to mine on these new Ergo layer 2s or layer 3s, or however you want to do it. So, you have a use case for, old ASICs, which are just sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah, I mean, what if you spin up a subchain with faster block time, just for ASICs, and that's your transactional layer for high speed transactions that people want to use. Exactly. I wonder if you can do with what's it called? I mean, what Kushti's working on, you can essentially. Somebody's calling. Let me shut that off. What Kushti's working on, you can essentially traverse that kind of stuff through sub blocks too, right? I mean, side chains, right? You can roll up some sort of finality or verification of a hash from a side chain into the main chain as well. Interesting.
Yes.
Cool. All right, let's see if we have any other questions. We're definitely over time. I don't think we do. Oh, Kraken's calling, says Maverick. Oh yeah, guys, keep busy on the socials. When you see Glasgow's been posting a lot from the main Twitter account. He's been doing all the like Ergo hack promotions and those kind of things. He did the Kraken application. So when you see those kinds of things happen, please, hit him up. I think he said that we got more views or close to more views in the original post, and we had more responses and more interactions than any other token or coin that was that was suggested for Kraken or Binance for those kind of things. So keep up the good work on Twitter. Keep pushing that hard, and we'll fight the good fight.
Yeah, I mean, guys, we got Rosen coming up with Bitcoin, right? We really need marketing for this, right? People need to be aware. So maybe go and follow some like ordinal focused like Twitter account, right? That does like trades and on tweet about, hey, we got this Rosen bridge coming. It'll allow you to trade on Cardano and start with Cardano because everyone knows about Cardano. Then you can say Ergo, right? They'll just think Ergo is another shitcoin or something. If you start with that, start with something people recognize, then draw them in saying Cardano and Ergo. And then you can even say Ethereum in the future, but Cardano now and Ergo now. So yeah.
Yeah, we can't be afraid of understanding that other chains are going to exist, and other chains may, people may never like Ergo as much as they like us, but they may have to rely on us for some sort of utility or some sort of financial layer on their own chain. So gotta kind of get past that maximalism and understand that we're tooling and we are a layer for other chains. Those other chains aren't going away. I mean, there's so much money invested in things like Solana, Ethereum, Avalanche. Exactly. As I said, listen to the Avalanche. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, 100%. Somebody is on. Let's see. They might be on YouTube, they might be on Discord, or they might be on Twitch, depending on where this is streaming from. But they said, Victor Duran said, "Hey guys, love the space. You mentioned Ergo as a secure and slow layer one. Sounds like Bitcoin. What does Ergo solve that Bitcoin doesn't? Or rather, how can other chains leverage Ergo?" Oh, Wombo says he's on Twitter. It's what's it called? You want to start this? This is we could go on for another 2 hours about this.
I mean, let's try to keep it quick. But the main advantage is Ergo is a smart contract platform. So it extends the idea of Bitcoin and it adds. I mean, this is originally honestly what Bitcoin should have been, right? They should have evolved, and but I don't know. People don't really want to move, but they should have evolved. Bigger blocks. Allow for better transaction speeds. And then have smart contracts so you can do more with your money. So, Ergo basically follows that foundations from Bitcoin and, extends it. So it still uses the same model Bitcoin does, but with additional support for smart contracts. So you can do more with your money, have fun, you more so be your own bank, collect interest rates and create your own applications and have an entire ecosystem around it. That's really the main advantage over Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just quite static, won't move. I mean, it's like gold, right? I mean, it's a good way to store value. That's about it. You can trust it. It'll be there forever. But then, something like Ergo, where you can actually, use your assets and do something with it.
Yeah, I think in short, it's a programmable money, essentially. There's absolutely very limitation that I found with how Ergo works. Once you get your head around how the ETXO model works and what a box is and how you can spend it and move it to another box and that kind of thing, that simpleness of how that functions really opens it up. And then the tooling that Ergo has. Now, MGpai hates ErgPi. Every time I mention ErgPi, he's like, use Fleet SDK. But, not sad to say, but the truth is, MGpai, the ErgPi that you developed opens that initial door to so many more people than something like Fleet, So I would urge you to never abandon that project. Maybe touch it up once in a while, kind of thing. So that kind of tooling lets anybody come in and mess around with the ecosystem and build something that they want to build. Somebody without any serious dev experience, maybe you took Python in high school, boom, you now know how to interact with the blockchain, build, create, submit transactions, mint NFTs, all from Python. So Ergo offers that kind of tooling and that availability of the developers in channels and chats on the back end side. And I'd say besides programmable money, Ergo offers, similar to Bitcoin, kind of unstoppable money. As we were talking earlier, anybody can spin up a node. You're talking about Bitcoin. The node was 700 gigabytes. Ergo node's 23 gigs right now or something like that.
Very, very light. Yes.
Very light.
See, that's actually, to add on to that, that's main selling point of Ergo, I would say, is in terms it's very light compared to something like Ethereum, where it's like I think already like over 2 terabytes to run a normal node. That's not like a light node. The problem is, right, Ethereum is super complex. In even the node itself, like there's so many things. Smart contracts also complex. Like it can be like non-deterministic, so you can't like really see easily ahead of time. A lot of different variables all over the place. Same thing with Solana, it's it's even heavier. You need like what, at least like 256 or 512 gigabytes of RAM itself to run like a node. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like more of a server, right? We're going back to Web
Mm-hmm.
2 with these technologies, and so Ergo's, it's like much lighter in that sense. Like I think the biggest thing, even better than lightness, is the simplicity of Ergo. The contracts are super simple and incredibly deterministic. You know exactly what's going to happen, and even more so, I think the Ergo node is like well written. It's very easy to follow. It's very light. It's not like super complex like
So it's
Ethereum.
like a
And
1 meg Java file. It's absolutely
right,
crazy.
and you might wonder why this matters. It matters because it's like the next generation. So like, what's gonna happen if people in Ethereum, they just get old, they retire? Like, who's gonna push Ethereum forward? It's so complex. This is no trivial task. You need really expert developers to continue to manage this. It's not like a simple code base. Whereas Ergo, it's a lot simpler than something like Ethereum. Same with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's pretty simple. Ergo is even simpler because it's written in a Scala. It's a really nice language, very easy to follow. It's not, you don't have to be focused on the syntax or how language specific works. It just lets you code how thinking about the product itself. So it's very easy. After Kushti maybe retires, which I doubt he ever will. But after he retires, someone else can, follow up, continue to manage the project. People in the community can easily take charge. It's a long-term play, right? In the next 100 years, I'm sure Ergo will be still there and kicking, compared to Ethereum, where you'd probably need millions and millions of dollars of support, continue, the upgrades of Ethereum.
Yeah, and Tildon from X said that they love Ergo, but mining is sadly not profitable in all parts of the world. Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Decent, yeah.
That is what it is. We have in the Sigs mining channel, we have a couple people that are dual or triple mining, and that's a triple mining with Ergo and Ergs, and that allows them to make I think he said up to 30% profit based on his electricity where he was. So there's some options out there that may be for you, till dawn, if you want to jump in the Sigs mining channel and check that out. But yeah, I know it's tough with electricity costs and the constant dipping and spiking of assets here. But yeah. And the cool thing about Ergo too, compared to other chains, and back to the node idea, is it's not just a full node you need to run as well. You can run a MGpai based node, a light node essentially, and still broadcast your transactions. And
Actually,
that's up and running in a few seconds.
We got someone for Ergo Hack working on that. We got really cool projects this time. So we got someone working on a light wallet, or a wallet which runs a complete node that's like a light node or something. So it only takes a few megabytes of data, right? And all on your phone, all done very clean. So that's something to look forward to. So we have a lot. This is so much innovation going on in this very small chain. Can't imagine.
So then
how crazy it would be.
Yeah, I know, right? Then you don't have, that's amazing, because then you don't have to worry about, because when you spin up your own node at home, you have to open ports if you want to send transactions to it outside of the house, that kind of thing. But if you have a MGpai client on your phone, you can broadcast a transaction from anywhere. Super, super cool. Let's see what else we have. Yes, I think that was the last question. Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right, MGpai. I think that's it. I think that's a good place to wrap it. Everybody stay tuned to Ergo Hack. Mark will put some more updates on what's it called? Oh, we got more questions. They're still coming. Victor Duran wants to know for Ergo builders why proof of work. I think that's let's see. In short, proof of stake, I'd say in short, prints money from air. as proof of work is actually converting, you can say it's converting a store of electricity to a store of value. So you're actually working, you're actually solving issues and securing the chain by converting electricity, and you're rewarded with a store of value. So you're actually doing something, you're working for that value, as opposed to just, money printer go brrr kind of thing.
Yeah. You got to buy into proof of stake, right? You got to like have your USD or something, buy the coins, buy a lot of coins, or be like an early investor or insider or whatever, right? And that just, helps the rich get richer, more or less. Where proof of work, everyone has some sort of hardware, right? You have a computer, you have a phone, and you can get started. Of course, you can't mine Ergo, but you can always start in the beginning of a chain, or if a chain is like a CPU mining chain only, like maybe Monero, for example, you can start with your computer.
Or a sidechain of Ergo could be opening up the CPU mining as well.
Yeah,
that's the whole point. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, so you can mine with whatever you have. I mean, if you
everyone has hardware. That's the idea of proof of work.
Yeah. Yep. It'd be neat to have a sidechain based on like a what are they called? The NVIDIA or the phone chips. What are those called?
Phone CPUs?
The phone CPUs. That'd be fairly interesting to have a sidechain able to be mined on a phone CPU. That would open up to a lot. Because you have, not everybody has a gaming rig sitting at their desk. This at least being in the U.S., you and I, that's not the norm. A lot of these people accessing Spectrum and Sigmafy and duck pools, they're doing it from their mobile phone, perhaps even a Android version that's an older version kind of thing. So when you build these apps, you kind of got to keep that in mind. But it would be neat having hundreds and millions of phones mining a subchain on Ergo, a side chain. That would be really cool. Qualcomm, I guess that's the name of the Snapdragon.
Qualcomm Snapdragon.
Yeah. One node for PlayStation. Yeah, I mean, how awesome would that be? Wouldn't it be cool to have your Xbox or your PlayStation GPU, CPU mining Ergo when it was just kind of sitting there? Maybe with Xbox you'd get the red ring of death sooner, but but that kind of thing. Yeah, that would be amazing. There was an Ergo hack 2 Ergo hacks ago that was writing a node for the Tizen, Tiger, however you say the
smart TV.
Yeah, smart TV. So, I mean, why not? If you have a TV that's just sitting there kind of off in standby mode, why can't it run a node and broadcast transactions for you, instead of your phone or something else? So Victor's saying that he likes proof of work for the same reasons, but he believes Bitcoin solves this. Although the Bitcoin network's current capabilities aren't as flexible as Ergo, it's way ahead. What niche can Ergo? Yeah, I guess it cut off the rest of the kind of thing. I'm not sure what he means by Bitcoin's network capabilities are ahead. Perhaps
I mean, maybe he just means it's more nodes, more decentralized, more hash rate, more secure, definitely. But it's not a smart contract platform at the end of the day. Right?
Bottom line is Ergo has extended UTXO. Bitcoin is not. So Ergo has smart contracts. Ergo has programmable on-chain things that is, pretty much what you think of you can do on Ergo. Bitcoin doesn't. So even if Bitcoin, could you imagine Bitcoin pivoting to, would they even be able to pivot to something like this?
No, of course not. No.
Yeah. So as you said earlier, MGpai, Bitcoin, when they want to do something like NFTs, they have to kind of have a centralized hack to be able to do runes on that. And Ergo, it's just,
built into it.
Yeah. It's built into it. NFTs, native tokens. It's not much you have to think about there. So I'd say come over, Victor. If you're not on Ergo already, or maybe you are because you say you like Ergo, check it out. Come into chats, come into the developer chats, read up on what people are working on. Compare what you see in our developer chats to what you see in the Bitcoin developer chats. If there's a board or anywhere like that where there's a community Bitcoin discussion on that kind of thing. See what we're building, see the financial tools that we're laying out. Look at Chain Cash, which Kushti's working on. Look at Joe's ideas for side chains. Look at sub blocks. Look at all those kind of cool things that are made possible because Ergo is what it is that you won't be able to see on Bitcoin.
Yes.
But yeah. Cool. All right, let's quit before people ask us any more questions. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. MGpai, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming in and listening and joining the conversation. Good luck with your project. I hope you don't beat me and I can beat you.
Come on, QX, rooting for you. Let's see those mining. Let's see that mining pool. Let's get that top 5 hash rate. Let's go.
Yes. Perfect. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Ciao.
All right, bye, guys.